Hi everyone, this is the video for Step 9. In the previous video, we have finished showing the student list. In this video, we're going to talk about permissions. Besides, since the Android version 6.0 Marshmallow version, there are some changes about permissions, so we are going to get to know about the changes and how to handle them this time. Let's start the Step 9 video. Do you remember that we have the telephone icon on the student list? How it works is, if there is a telephone number in the database and users click the icon, a device will make a phone call by the telephone number. When developing apps in Android system, the easiest way to make a phone call is using intent class. However, in order to do so, we need a permission from Android system. In case that we want to use functions protected by permissions, we should register a permission into the manifest file. Otherwise, we will have a runtime error while running an app. So, first of all, let me add a permission into the manifest file. Here we have the manifest file. We have simply added the permission to call. Now I can say we are able to make a phone call. However, until Android version 5.0, adding permissions in the manifest file should work with no problem. But since version 6.0, although programmers add permissions into the manifest file, users can block them by device settings. Besides, by default, the permission settings are disabled, so users are not able to make a phone call until they change the settings enable. Therefore, we should handle the device settings in our app. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to add codes into the main activity to see if a permission is granted, and I'll set the permission value and let other activities access the permission value. In order to do so, we need a new class to be accessed by all other activities. It's called an application class. Let's create the application class. We have added the new class named MyApplication. This is a global class, and we can only have one in an app. How we make it an application class is to inherit the application class from the Android library. What the application class is all about is that all classes and apps can access the values in this class, so that it would have normally static constants or variables rather than functions or logics. We have added the permission variable here with the Boolean type. So then I'm going to let other classes access this variable before I can make a phone call. But before that, we need to register this application as an application class in a setting file. Let's open the manifest file. As you can see, here is the application tag, and we can add the name attribute to set the application class. Now other classes in the app are able to access the application class. Alright, next, let's open the main activity file. Let's add some codes to check the phone call permission, and then set it to the application class's permission variable. Let's add the variable to get the application class's object. Let's move to the onCreate method. In here, we need to add the permission checking script. Let me get the application class object first. Now other classes can access this object in order to check a permission. Like I said earlier, since the version 6 Marshmallow version, the permission can be overwritten by the device settings, so that we need to check the device settings here. But keep in mind, we are able to view the setting values, but we are not able to change the values in apps. We can only change them in the device setting page. So let's add the checking script. How to check the device settings permission is to use the CheckSelfPermission method. Pass a parameter by the permission that we are looking for. Then, if the return value of checkSelfPermission method is the permission_granted value, it means the permission is enable status. On the other hand, if it's not permission_granted, then the permission is in disable status. So, let's set the granted value to the application's variable inside of if braces. We've assigned the true value to the application's variable. If the setting permission is granted, there is no problem with these codes. But we need to consider the case that if the permission value is not granted, so let's add codes to check it. So if the permission is not granted, we have to ask a user to change it to enable. The user can go to the device setting page and change it, but it could be too much work to ask the user, because the user has to get out of our app to do that. So in order to help the user to do it easily, we can open the setting dialog panel for the user to change the setting inside our app. So let's open the system setting dialog. In order to open the dialog, use the requestPermission method, and here is the array parameter for permissions that we are looking for. In our app, I just added only one permission, but if you need more than one permission, we can add more permissions into the parameter. Then the setting dialogs will open per a permission, and a user can set them all in each permission dialog. Now you might think that everything is under control. However, there is a chance that the user doesn't grant the permission in the system dialog, even when asked to do so. Because in programming files, again, we're not able to change permissions, so our hands are all tied here. The only thing that we can do is we can track the system permission right after the system dialog is closed. So, let's add a new method to ask the permission result called onRequestPermissionResult. This method will be triggered when permission dialog panels are closed. The request code parameter is the number value 10 that we passed when asking the permission. And we will get the permissions and the granted results from the parameters. So let's add codes inside the method to check whether users grant the permission or not. Let's see, if the request code value is 10, which means the phone call permission that we just asked for. And let's check it again. If the first value out of the grant results array is granted, because we asked only one permission earlier, so we get the first value from the array. So if the first value is granted, it means the user granted the permission. And if the value is not granted, then it means the user did not grant the permission. So, if the permission is granted, set the application permission variable as true. Let's wrap it up here. We've talked about permissions. Bye for now. Hope to see you at the next video.